right, welcome everybody to Not My Rabbit Hole. Hope you're all staying cool here in the summertime. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of music. At Suno.com, which is the AI channel that I created a few songs at, and go like that. And here we go.
Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The Thrill Society road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Born tossed in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drought in your brain, making you insane. Wrapping up Benjamin full fur, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program drifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen, create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier talks in prison, Nordic and Draco, shape shifting in my Winnebago. Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drown in your brain, making you insane. Wrapping the Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines living like Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word.
Okay, one thing that I want to start as we get going here. First of all, we're going to do a chat GBT of Jeffrey Epstein. I know everybody knows that we're being told by the FBI that there's no client list. And Trump's response was surprising. We're still talking about the client list. There is no, we have other things. And he was like, just really gaslighting the whole thing. I'm sure you guys have probably seen that footage. And he's enraged his hardcore fans, including Nick Fuentes. There's a lot of talk about how people feel about the situation. And there are a few things that I kind of want to do with ChatGPT, deep search on everything about this situation. I'm enjoying these ChatGPT shows. I hope you are. And I also want to open it up to if anybody here in the chat has a question that they want to ask ChatGPT to research. Now, I want to bear in mind and as we've gone along and as I've done these shows, I think I've been doing these ChatGPT shows for maybe, I've done like 4 or 5 of them now. I mean, I started like the beginning of this month, I think, or maybe the end of last month, the very end of it. Just, it started with, ChatGPT and stuff about David Schurter. And by the way, there is something that I want to research about him today on ChatGPT too as well. But I'm just kind of, but it's not perfect. There are there's information that ChatGPT comes up with, and it just, there's other things that it just doesn't find. And it just because it's not showing it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not there. It's not like ChatGPT is some sort of oracle. So I just kind of want to put a disclaimer on that. Although it is a great research tool to scrape the internet. Also, I want to let you know that sometimes ChatGPT hallucinates. It will give you gibberish. There's a lot of things that ChatGPT does, wrong. So you have to, not a lot of things, but there's a few things that it does wrong. So bear in mind, you have to take that into account. It does do a pretty good summation of the information that it does find on the internet. So it will contextualize what you were looking for on the internet. I like that about ChatGPT, but just make sure that you click on the links and you double verify on everything. All right. So I just want to point that out. Now, this morning, right before the show, I happened to see a Facebook post. And the Facebook post, I am sharing it right there. You see it. The Facebook post, let me get a better view of this, a more open view. The Facebook post had to do with Rosie O'Donnell. And Rosie O'Donnell has had a long time feud with Donald Trump, and she's even left the country and she's moved to Ireland. And I follow her on TikTok, and sometimes I see some of her videos, and this came in down my timeline. I do want to read it this morning, and then I'm going to do a double check on ChatGPT just to make sure that this is. I'm going to fact check it to make sure it's real. Donald Trump. By the way, I had jury duty this last week, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I'm actually going to do I'm going to write about it on my Substack, so be on the lookout for that. It was quite the interesting experience. I was juror number 12, and Friday we did our final deliberation on the case, and I saw this man. He was handcuffed, and we were waiting to go in. Like, there's an elevator and then there's a stairwell, and in between that area, and then there's a door that we wait by to be taken back into a room that we're going to do the deliberation. So some of us that had gotten there early, some of the jurors, we were standing by there, and this guy, he's handcuffed, he's being carried out by, at first it just looked like it was a sheriff or someone, someone of law enforcement. And a bunch of other people were following. And guess what? It was ICE. I literally saw ICE taking somebody out of the courthouse. And that's the first time. I mean, I know in my personal life where I'm at, there's a lot of things. I'm in California, so that, we know we had the raids. We know we had this situation. And it's the first time that I saw anybody being taken away. Now, just recently, like within the past couple of days, California's farm workers on the farms that we have, including a cannabis farm, was raided by ICE, and there was even a child that was injured in that with like a gun pellet or something, some sort of projectile that they were shooting at the farm workers. So there's a lot of things going on with people being deported and having a lot of talk about citizenship. What is citizenship? The 14th Amendment, being born in the country makes you a citizen. Like, this is coming up as a conversation. So This was on Facebook by it's called the Other 98%, which is a nonprofit organization, and it has 17.5 million followers. So I'm thinking this is pretty legit, but here's what they posted. It said Donald Trump sparked outrage on Saturday with a Truth Social post targeting Rosie O'Donnell. He wrote, because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not the best, because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not in the best interests of our great country, I am giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship. Wow. She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland. If they want her, God bless America. The president's message, filled with bluster and lacking any legal basis, drew immediate attention for its authoritarian tone and its clear attempt to silence a critic. I just want to take a beat on that for a second. So she doesn't like him. She doesn't like his administration. Whether you like Rosie O'Donnell or not, whether you like her politics or her comedy or, whatever you think about her, Donald Trump is, I think, completely out of line to threaten to take her citizenship away from her because she criticizes him. That is not what the United States is about. That is not what the United States is about. It makes me angry, actually. It's like, who? What? Seriously? This is unacceptable. Unacceptable if this is true. And I think it is. But we're going to chat GBT some more about it. Rosie O'Donnell wasted no time firing back in an Instagram post of a picture with Trump and Jeffrey Epstein in the following statement. And isn't that interesting that she is slamming the Jeffrey Epstein Trump situation? Like, that's how hot of a button this is right now. How inflamed people are about how Trump has handled this and the FBI. Because you know what? We swore in Kash Patel. Kash Patel got sworn in, and a lot of the arguments about swearing him in was that he was going to expose the Jeffrey Epstein client list, and this really needed to be done. And it came up like a total nothing burger. Total nothing burger. Or a big cover-up, right? Hey, Donald, you're rattled again 18 years later and still live rent-free in that collapsing brain of yours, and I still live rent-free in that collapsing brain of yours. You call me a threat to humanity, but I'm everything you fear. A loud woman, a queer woman, a mother who tells the truth, and an American who got out of the country before you set it ablaze. You build walls. I build a life for my autistic kid in a country where decency still exists. You crave loyalty. I teach my children to question power. You sell fear on golf courses. I make art about surviving trauma. You lie, you steal, you degrade. I nurture, I create, I persist. You are everything that is wrong with America, and I'm everything you hate about what's still right with it. You want to revoke my citizenship. Go ahead and try. Keep Jeffrey with a tangerine spray tan. Keep King Joffrey with a tangerine spray tan. I'm not yours to silence. I never was. Rosie. And then this organization, who's ever's posting that. Oh, that's just a comment. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, that not only people being taken off, not only children getting, shot by ICE, or injured by ICE. Let me just, I'm not sure exactly what was shot, but what from the newscast, what I can remember, there was like a projectile of some sort that was shot at the child. So not only are you raiding people and, injuring children, but he's threatening to like take a United States citizenship away from them. I mean, like, really, maybe Trump should like think twice as the president before he makes a social media post. I mean, I know some of you guys like Trump. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about them, and I respect everybody's opinion, but I hope that you respect mine as well, because we all have one. We all have a feeling if we're gonna like be like what America is, or be a democracy, then maybe we need to listen to each other's viewpoints and still like give some room and some space to share it. I mean, how are you and I different than any other discussion that's happening here globally, really? Okay, I'll take that share off. Hi, Raven. Raven says, when they actually do fight, they are fighting over who gets control of us. None of them are on our side, in my opinion. I guess somebody named Algorithm. The Algorithm Reacts Comedy. I have a feeling this is going to be a troll. I'm not watching this movie anymore, LOL. We thought this Epstein thing was going to drain the swamp, per se. Oh, hi. I mean, maybe you're okay. I don't know. The Algorithm Reacts Comedy. I'm not watching this movie anymore, LOL. We thought this Epstein thing was going to drain the swamp, per se. This is sad. I know we did. I mean, I know, and I think a lot of people know this. I voted for Trump for twice. I voted for Trump twice, not the third time, but I did twice. And a big motivating factor for me to vote for Trump the first year was that he was going to drain the swamp. It had to do with the WikiLeaks that came out. It had to do with the discussion of Jeffrey Epstein, which was like slanted towards the liberals only. And I believed it. I drank the one-sided Kool-Aid, but not anymore, because it's not like that. I feel manipulated. I feel politically manipulated, and I would have expected more out of Trump than what we got recently. It's really foul to me right now. Ben says, yes, Algorithm, our hopes were so high. We all knew there was a list. Yeah, it's, and then isn't there like, they're saying that he really didn't unaliven himself, but then they found out that there's still a minute missing from the footage. It looks like the swamp has drained Trump. No, I don't. I'm going to disagree with you on that, Ben. It looks like the swamp has drained Trump. Do you believe that comment that because like Trump came back and tried to blame that all this stuff about Jeffrey Epstein and all of the, client list was actually created by the left now, even though it was about the left. He's now blaming the left. I don't like the people that were supposed to be the swamp. I don't see Trump being a victim of that. I'm not even sure there is a swamp anymore. I mean, yeah, we got a lot of bad politicians, but they're bad on both sides. So I don't agree with that. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm waiting for your response. I mean, I refuse to vote for any of them. When you vote for someone, you consent everything they do. I do not consent. Yes, Ben, they drained the swamp and Trump washed up with the rest of the monsters. Yes, that's how I feel about it. It's like, like Trump right now for me is not a hero. Is not anywhere. It's not. He is. There's something really wrong happening right now here in the United States. Like to say that about Rosie O'Donnell and just go, I'm going to take your citizenship away just because she doesn't like him, just because like they, butt heads. No one deserves to have their citizenship threatened, because of the fact that they're voicing their opinion. It's not one party. Dems and GOP mainstream is the uniparty. Maybe. I mean, but when you're talking about, here's another thing too, like we're talking, it's not just one party. When you're talking about parties, you're talking about the people that belong to those parties. And, in the United States, we cannot vote really, legitimately. I mean, your vote really doesn't count per se, I think, in some ways, until we can't even vote for the primaries if we don't belong to a party. Like, you have to belong to a party. So you have and the big parties are right or left. And then you have, we have independent libertarian or these other green peace or green, it's, I don't know, all that. There's all these different little ones, like libertarian's bigger, but there's little other parties here that you can go. But it's not the same. Like, it's not the same as being like a Republican or a Democrat. It's always been a Republican or a Democrat. Both parties have a different type of collective belief of how the country should be run. It's a thought between both parties, conservative and liberal, right? But when you talk about one side is bad or immoral and the other one is righteous, because the right has the evangelical vote, which everybody goes, oh, well, the evangelical vote, the power of that, the conservative, well, that's the part that belongs to God. But how many evangelicals sin and do crimes against humanity? It happens. Just to think of something as being just an institution and being the righteous institution, I think is really dangerous thinking. It's not looking at something like, in the bigger picture. It's one bird, the wings but one bird. It's always been corrupted. Voting is given the illusion of choice. Yes. And there's a lot of people out there who feel that this is just a racket. Like, we really don't have a choice. We're not really sure what's running our country. We're told that we have a say in our politics. I mean, I think doing jury duty is is doing a government civic duty. I mean, you're doing your duty and you're giving somebody the right to have a trial by a jury of their peers, finding out what the truth is, sentencing somebody, whatever. There's a justice happening in that arena, right? But when it comes to having a say in our government or making change, yes, we are able to make change with laws and things that I feel that there's more power for the individual American in local politics. It's easier to make change in local politics than it is in larger politics. And really, my feeling as an American, I don't think we've had a good president for a very long time. A very long time. We've been on the slippery slope for a long time. You can go back to Bush, Obama. I voted for Obama the first year. I even had a hat that was red that had Obama studs on my hat that glistened. One time I was driving it and I didn't. a guy was crossing a crosswalk, and I was like, oh my God, I did not stop fast enough. Okay, so I stopped. The guy looked at me, and he should have been pissed at me that I could have almost barreled through that crosswalk, right? But because he saw that I had an Obama hat on, he pulled his hands up and cheered, yay! Because we thought that there was hope to believe in. We thought there was change coming to the country. And Obama signed the Monsanto Protection Act. Do you remember that? I do. And at that point, I was like, forget it. I could no longer be happy with him as being for another 4 terms. That's what lost it for me on Obama. And then what do? We do it again. Because I think America is looking for something. I think we voted for Trump because he was like a maverick. He was like, when he first came on the scene, he was really, really great. He was like, something different. He was calling out the media. People were unhappy with the media. So we thought, here's something fresh. Here, let's make America great again, which, by the way, is something that was said during the Reagan administration. And, I'm going to say that's a Roger Stone thing. Roger Stone goes, probably like 20 years later, what was it? More than 20 years later, 30 years later, people aren't going to remember that. People aren't going to remember that there was a make America great again with Reagan. Well, they'll suck it up and wear a red hat with the words across it. I mean, you got to give it to Roger Stone. That's a great slogan. But, last night I was watching videos where people were burning up there was 3 hats. I think it's going viral on TikTok or something. There's 3 hats being set aflame in somebody's barbecue. That's how unhappy people are about this. Ben says, I feel exactly the same way about Boris Johnson, but he betrayed us too. Yes. I mean, I liked Boris Johnson for a while, even though I was an American. I thought, he looks pretty, I was agreeing, and they kind of look similar, right? A little bit. They kind of, except Boris isn't as orange as Trump is. Boris's hair was just always all over the place. I couldn't believe somebody who couldn't manage his hair like that was prime minister. Manage his hair better than that was prime minister. So the algorithm reacts comedy says at Raven TW, once you put on the glasses, you can't take them off. You can't unsee the madness, and it's everywhere. It is everywhere. I've never known a time in history in my life, and I've been on the planet for a while now, that has been this crazy. I mean, I'm sure I wasn't alive during World War II. It must have been horrific. I'm thinking of people, and when World War II was happening, they probably thought that it was going to be the end of the world soon. And even now, with everything happening right now, we feel like it's the end of the world soon. I don't think people are going to buy this. I really think Trump is his presidency is in trouble. He thinks that he might get a 3rd term. Surprisingly, he will be picked to have a 3rd term. I don't see that happening at this point. I really don't. That's my prediction, for whatever that's worth. So first thing I want to do is just to kind of, let's just look, and I know this is off the Jeffrey Epstein thing, but it all is kind of related. I'm gonna do the chat GBT. Let's get that going here. All right, and let's start with Rosie. Let's start with Rosie. And this is, I mean, when you think about right now, when you think about Jeffrey Epstein, we're never going to be able to separate Jeffrey Epstein from Trump. In our minds, we probably will never be able to separate Trump with Jeffrey Epstein for various reasons, for the fact that he used it as part of his political campaign and we're disappointed, to the fact that there's so many pictures of them hanging out together, that if you're speculating something, right? I have to stop saying the word right. That's a word tick there. Okay, help me correct myself sometimes. If you're speculating that there's a client list of Jeffrey Epstein, which was basically the premise of the whole case, right? Oh, I did it again. Which was basically the premise of the whole case. It was about Jeffrey Epstein trafficking minors, or, all of it. And that to a group of elite people and friends, with a crossover with the modeling agency, like all this stuff, big names, big associate. Oh, look, Prince Andrew. It doesn't just stay in the United States. It crossed over to England, having involvement or speculation in all of this. And when you look at all those people that we've already seen flight logs. We've already seen things, all that stuff, all that speculation. Trump basically getting elected, like swinging people's opinion to elect him because they made it about the liberals. And there he is, big as you please, and all these photos. But everybody kept, this is how we did cognitive dissonance about it. We said, oh, well, they had a past. Oh, yeah, of course they would know each other. Oh, yeah, that was just this one event. But now Trump sees things differently. He never was really involved with that stuff. So we went with that. Because he was pointing a finger at the other people. And then we get nothing. We get told he didn't unalive himself. He did unalive himself. There's nothing to see here. There's no client list. Now let's move on and focus on something else. No, it's not. It's not going to happen. Well, know why? Because you're talking about minors. You're talking about children. You're talking about crimes against children, against young people, grooming people. If that's not the case, then why is Ghislaine in prison? Why is she carrying the moniker of that? Why couldn't we watch the trial? Why couldn't the trial be televised or public if there wasn't something to hide? Yeah. I mean, if there's no client list, I mean, shouldn't they be well, I guess there's testimony and things like that, but maybe it's the terminology of it. Maybe, is a Rolodex of names and contacts and business deals a client list? Like, define client list. Like, what was the list for? I don't think that it would be very naive to think that everybody who knew Jeffrey Epstein or went to the island or had some sort of association with him was involved in the grooming and the sex working of minors, massages, special little favors, all that stuff, right? Just because, like, you have an association doesn't mean that's that. Remember Heidi Fleiss's little black book? Who's in the book? Whose name was part of the prostitution ring? Remember that? I mean, this is the same thing, only it has to do with underage girls. And that is an even bigger crime and violation in what most people think. And I'm one of those people. I mean, some people, they're, Nevada has, prostitution is legalized in Nevada. People have varying degrees of like whether prostitution should even be a crime. But I think everybody can agree that the grooming and the harming of minors, the sexual assault of minors, that's a whole nother situation. Nobody thinks that's okay. So, here I am talking about other things. All right, so let's go with Rosie. I'm going to ask, did Trump threaten to take away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship? I think I spelled that wrong. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yes, here we go. On July 12th, former President Donald posted on Truth Social, and I guess that's his network, right? I did it again. I said right again. Damn it! It's hard to get those word habits out of your mouth. All right. Yes, on July 12th, 2025, former President Donald Trump posted on social media, or on Truth Social, that he was giving serious consideration to taking away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship, calling her a threat to humanity, and suggesting she remain in Ireland. However, legal experts and constitutional scholars are clear a president cannot strip a native-born American of their citizenship by decree. The 14th Amendment protects anyone born in the U.S. from such action, and there's no lawful executive path for revocation in this case. Rosie O'Donnell, who was born in New York in 1962, she's the same age as me, and moved to Ireland earlier this year, responded defiantly, calling Trump a dangerous and soulless man with dementia, and quipping, "Go ahead and try King Joffrey with a tangerine." It's actually funny now when I read it, because she's funny. Wait, let's do it again. Go ahead and try King Joffrey with a tangerine spray tan. Trump said he is considering revoking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. Legal reality, unconstitutional and impossible under current law. Citizenship rights for U.S.-born individuals are protected by the 14th Amendment. Yes, Trump threatened to take away O'Donnell's citizenship, but legally you can't do it. Let me know if you'd like more detail on the constitutional protections involved in our history of the feud. So, yeah, there you go. So why is the president threatening something that he has no constitutional right to do? I mean, shouldn't he know better? And why does he care what Rosie O'Donnell says about him? She's a comedian. Why does he care about what the comic says when he's the big man president of the United States? I mean, people say in our community, they go, just ignore it. That person's calling you a pedo and blah, 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 blah. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. Okay. Well, how come our president can't ignore it? And on that note, I'm going to play my opening theme song. Let me pull that out. Welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole. Here we go.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no clown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground, echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole.
Ben the J.R. Porter says that I like Rosie OD. She was an early target for cancel culture and she questioned 9/11 on TV. Yeah, she said what she thought. She says what she believes in. Whether you like her or not, there's no mystery about about Rosie. So yeah, I've always liked her, and I remember during the Obama administration they first got into it, and Trump was. I remember seeing clips of Trump saying, "Rosie O'Donnell is a horrible person." Rosie O'Donnell, he was just really trashing her, and I think it was. I think wasn't. I'm correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm seeing this wrong. I'm remembering it wrong, right? But maybe I am remembering it correctly. But I think I remember Trump being a big birther, like not a birther, but he was like he was with in part of the investigation of saying that Obama wasn't an American citizen. I should ChatGPT ChatGPT that too for a second. I know, because I feel like I remember that. Okay, let me ask another question. Was Donald Trump disputing Obama's U.S. citizenship when he was president? Okay, so it's searching the web. Yes, while Donald Trump was president and before, he did publicly dispute Barack Obama's U.S. citizenship as part of what became known as the birther movement. Okay, I was right, birther. He was a birther. Timeline of Trump's birther claims. 2011, presidential run prep. Trump began calling for Obama to release his birth certificate, claiming he had real doubts and suggesting there was something on that birth certificate Obama didn't want people to see. In April of 2011, Obama released his long-term birth certificate, which confirmed his birth in Honolulu. Trump downplayed his role. I'm really honored I was able to do something that nobody else could do. Even with the release, Trump continued to question Obama's citizenship. In a 2013 interview, he said he was still unsure, and as late as 2015, he stated, "I don't talk about that anymore," but did not affirmatively acknowledge Obama was born in the U.S. For years, Trump refused to say if Obama was born in the U.S. Finally, on September 15, 2016, he released a statement. President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period. At that time, he also blamed Hillary Clinton for starting the birther movement, a claim debunked by fact checkers. Isn't that interesting? Because now he is blaming basically Hillary, the Hillary camp of creating the Jeffrey Epstein client list, which I guess now is supposedly a LARP, right? Or something. It's fake news. It's propaganda, right? So now he waffles and is now still blaming. Oh man, see the pattern? I hate to admit it, but I think we've been duped, ladies and gentlemen. 2011 to 2015, voluntary-led birther conspiracy repeatedly questioning Obama's birthplace. 2015 to mid-2016, frequently dodged or refused to answer if Obama was U.S. born. September 2016, publicly acknowledged Obama was born in the U.S. for the first time. So yes, Trump did dispute Obama's U.S. citizenship for years, from 2011 through 2015, only quietly acknowledging the truth late in the 2016 campaign. Would you like more details on how this influenced public opinion, or how legal court challenges to Obama's eligibility was challenged? Yes, I would like to know. Yes, I would like to know. Okay. Great. Here's a detailed breakdown of how Donald Trump's birther claims influenced public opinion, along with legal challenges and their outcomes. 1. Influence on public opinion. Polling data 2011 to 2016. After Trump's repeated media appearances, a CBS NYT poll found 45% of Republicans believed Obama was not born in the United States. In 2016, a YouGov poll still showed 72% of Trump supporters doubted or were unsure of Obama's birthplace, even after the birth certificate was released. Effects. Trump's claims help fuel a racially charged conspiracy theory, casting doubt on the legitimacy of America's first Black president. It bolstered Trump's popularity among parts of the GOP base who distrusted Obama and mainstream media. So this was happening. The distrust of the mainstream media was happening back then. The birther movement is now widely considered a key launching pad for Trump's political rise. 2 legal challenges to Obama's presidency. Between 2008 and 2012, dozens of lawsuits were filed alleging Barack Obama was ineligible to serve as president due to questions about his birthplace or citizen status. Bergs versus Obama in 2008 dismissed the plaintiff. Philip Berg lacked standing to sue as a private citizen. Keyes versus Bowen, dismissed California court, ruled it was up to Congress to resolve disputes over presidential eligibility. Hollister versus Sotoro, dismissed a frivolous plaintiff, was ordered to pay legal costs. That's interesting. What? Sotoro, not Sortoro. Tots versus Obama, repeated efforts by Orly Tats, dubbed the Queen of Birthers, were dismissed for lacking legal merit or standing. Judges frequently sanctioned her. Legal conclusion: courts consistently rejected all lawsuits challenging Obama's citizenship or eligibility, reaffirming that he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii on August 4th, 1961. He meets the constitutional requirement of a natural-born citizen. Mainstream and legal pushback, Republican pushback. Prominent conservatives like Karl Rove, John McCain, and House Speaker John Bonner publicly disagreed with Trump's birthism. The military and legal establishment issued statements reaffirming Obama's legitimacy. Historians and media critics, while widely regarded birtherism as a racialized political strategy, scholars noted it mirrored past historical effects to delegitimize. Wow! Scholars noted it mirrored past historical efforts to delegitimize African Americans' citizenship, which is part of the 14th Amendment. Okay. So, in summary, public opinion, millions of Americans doubted Obama's legitimacy, especially Trump supporters. Legal system, courts consistently rejected birther lawsuits as meritless. Trump's political career, the birther movement served as a springboard for Trump's entry into national politics. Historical legacy, historians widely view birtherism as a racist conspiracy theory designed to delegitimize a sitting president. And this really applies, I think, to right now. And also, he's accusing Obama of not being a citizen. He is threatening Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship for speaking out against him. He we have all this ICE thing happening with the farm migrants and the immigrants here in the United States that come from Mexico specifically. I mean, I don't see ICE taking any other type of people out from other parts of the country that might not be here legally, right? It's specifically focused on Mexicans. And California's getting it really bad because we're right there at the border. I guess Texas too, right? Oh, I said right again. So this is all very interesting to me, really. Okay, so I have a question, and this is going to go to Jeffrey Epstein. We're getting to the Jeffrey Epstein part, right? And did Trump use the Jeffrey Epstein scandal as part of his presidency campaign and campaigns? Let's make it plural. How far okay. I have Grammarly. I'm going to go with plural. You know what? Part of his, what I really want to know, because we know he did it recently, part of his 2016 presidential campaign. Was he part of that? Or what really influenced that? Let's go. Donald Trump did not publicly use the Jeffrey Epstein scandal as a central part of the 2016 presidential campaign. However, there's a detailed look at the relationship between Trump, Epstein, and a 2000 election context. I'm going to ask for a deep search. Let me see. I meant to do that. Can you run a deep search on Trump on the influence of the, I'm going to change it a little bit, Jeffrey Epstein. Can you run a deep search on the influence of the Jeffrey Epstein? The Jeffrey Epstein scandal during the 2016 election. To investigate thoroughly, could you clarify what specific aspects of Epstein's scandals influence you're most interested? For example, media coverage and public opinion in 2016, whether it influenced voter behavior, how far it was used or avoided by Trump, Clinton, or other political actors, connections between Epstein and any political figures. Let me know which of these or others you'd like to focus on so I can tailor the research appropriately. Can you focus on all of it? Understood. So it's gonna take a little while. Meanwhile, let's go back up here on the first question. Okay. So my question was, did Trump use the Jeffrey Epstein scandal as part of his 2016 presidential campaign? And then it said Donald Trump did not publicly use the Jeffrey Epstein scandal as a central part of the 2016 presidential campaign. However, here's a detailed look at his relationship between Trump, Epstein, and the 2016 election content. Trump, Epstein in 2016, what we know. Trump and Epstein's relationship. Trump and Epstein were known to socialize in the 1990s and early 2000s, particularly in Palm Beach and New York high society. In 2002, New York Magazine, quote, Trump said, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." By the late 2000s, their relationship reportedly soured. Some say Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after an incident involving a young girl. 2016 allegations. During the 2016 campaign, both Trump and Bill Clinton were scrutinized in the press for past associations with Epstein. In June 2016, a woman filed a lawsuit under the pseudonym Katie Johnson, alleging Trump and Epstein had AR'd her when she was 13, alleging at an Epstein property in 1994. The lawsuit was dropped in November 2016, with her lawyer saying she had received threats and feared for her safety. Trump denied the allegations. Did Trump weaponize the Epstein scandal in 2016? No, not directly. Trump did not prominently use Epstein against Clinton during the campaign, even though Bill Clinton had flown on Epstein's private jet, nicknamed the Lolita Express, multiple times. Instead, Trump focused on Clinton scandals, such as Hillary's private server, Benghazi, the Clinton Foundation's foreign donors. Why not sue Epstein? Mutual exposure risk. Trump himself had past ties to Epstein. Why not use Epstein? Mutual exposure. Trump himself had past ties to Epstein. Timing. Epstein's most explosive crimes and 2019 arrest occurred after the 2016 election. Strategic choice. Campaign focused more on draining the swamp, immigration, crooked Hillary, and populist themes. Post 2016, after Epstein's 2019 arrest and death, Trump retweeted conspiracy theories suggesting the Clintons were involved. Post 2016, after Epstein's 2019 arrest and death, Trump retweeted conspiracy theories suggesting the Clintons were involved. So now he's saying, why are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein and the client list? We have so many other things to be talking about, when he was actually retweeting these, what they're calling conspiracy theories now, during his first presidency. Wow. When Trump said that, why are we still talking about does he think that the Americans don't remember anything? That we're not going to go, well, weren't you talking about that during your campaign? Like, look at me. I'm like, God, I'm so flabbergasted by it in a way that I'm like, let me chat GBT it to see if I'm remembering it right. Because maybe we're all suffering from the Mandela effect or something. Did Trump know Epstein? Yes, socially, in the 1990s and 2000. Did Trump campaign on Epstein's scandal in 2016? No, it wasn't a major part of his campaign rhetoric. Did the media ask about it? Occasionally, especially after 2016. Did Trump use it after 2016? Yes, retweeted Epstein Clinton conspiracy content in 2019. And this portion right here, by the way, I want to, now that I'm thinking about it, Sophia Music, I think it was yesterday or the day before, did a whole big long thing about, first of all, how he didn't really know Isaac Cappy that well. Right? Oh, so he's claiming. And that the reason why, Isaac Cappy was unalived was because he was outing Jeffrey Epstein. But you know what? Isaac Cappy really didn't come onto the scene until 2016. And so you can see right here that Jeffrey Epstein is already part of the dialogue, which has nothing to do with Isaac Cappy. I just want to put that out. I just want to here's another person who basically does things like Donald Trump does at the moment, where they just decide to make up new things that happened. No, this is what really happened. Well, you know what? Here it is right here. This has nothing to do with Isaac Cappy. Isaac Cappy did a great song, Brackets and Jackets, which we should probably play, that he helped fuel the Jeffrey Epstein scandal on YouTube and in the public domain. He was an influencer of that information, but he was not a whistleblower for that information. There were a lot of people talking about Jeffrey Epstein. I was talking about Jeffrey Epstein before there was an Isaac Cappy on Revolution Radio and doing roundtables about it. It was a common conversation in the alternative truth media, as what we called ourselves. So, to just get up on your Sophia Music page and try to, whitewash something that, maybe people are questioning him about, with information that could be easily sourced, easily remembered, easily found out. Jeffrey Epstein was being talked. I remember seeing, there was this show on HBO. It was called the Cat Club, or the Cat House, which was about, they were prostitutes living in a working a best little whorehouse in Texas scenario. In Nevada. And they made a TV show out of it. And the guy who runs that was on television, like some news broadcast. I don't know if it was like, I can't remember if it was NBC or Fox or whatever. He was talking about Jeffrey Epstein right before the election and said, mark my words, this is going to be one of the biggest things people are going to be talking about real soon. He knew what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein. And a lot of people say, well, that's not, he was running a whorehouse. He's not really a morally upstanding guy. But even so, he came out and said, like I said in my argument, it's like legal prostitution is more acceptable than what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. By far, for more reasons than one. Okay, so I'm wondering if the deep search is ready yet. No. So let's play another song and I will see what we have here. Let's see, which one should we play? Let's do a Saint Germain song.
Saint Germain in the membrane. Insane is the ending game. Cure sacrifice is a goat 720. Listen.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm screwing up here. What? Say it isn't so. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Saint Germain in the membrane. Insane is the ending game. Cure sacrifice is a goat 720. Listen to me. Try to believe, because I deceive 33-year-old me. For those who can't see, Saint Germain in the membrane. Insane is the end game. You are to blame when I created the game. Let's do the Saint Germain. Let's do the Saint Germain. Let's dance, pretend we're friends, and pretentious and contentious. Let's be Saint
All right. That is Saint Germain.